So today is Sunday. It's been pretty much an exact week since I started filming this video. I think I started filming it on either Sunday or Monday, but I think it was Sunday. I started working on a leather journal cover project, and I showed a little bit of that, but basically I've just been filming little bits of the projects that I've been working on, things I've been doing, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been up to. I have been sick for a little bit, but this week I finally started to feel a little bit better, and so I have had so much like motivation and inspiration. Like every day I just feel completely inspired and I want to work on projects because I haven't really had the chance to work on things as much as I wanted to. Actually, basically at all in the week before now. So yeah, I tried to film my entire week, or at least just little bits when I'm at home, and of the things that I've been doing. So on Sunday, I went to my parents' place and I worked on making my own leather journal cover. I think it's like a Louise Carmen journal, I suppose, or like a traveler's notebook with the ability to insert your own notebooks. I've been seeing those like
a lot on Pinterest, and I've watched a couple of videos on them, and they were just so beautiful, and I love that kind of vintagey leather journal look. So I really wanted to make my own, and I found the supplies pretty easily. So yeah, I made one of those. I spent like the whole evening um working on that, doing the grommets, and the only thing that I filmed was me making the little template that I used and kind of showing some of the supplies that I have. But I have some leftover supplies. I've got more leather and grommets, and I'm getting some little charms and stuff. So I have plenty of supplies left over, and I'm going to be making another journal for sure. So I will definitely film that, and I think make it its own video. The process for this first journal that I made was a little bit slow and kind of all over the place because I had never worked on a project like that. So, especially with the grommets, it was a little bit like I had to learn how to do it. So I think if I make another one and film that, I can make the process actually easier to understand and document it in a better way. But that was so fun. I will definitely like show that in another video and actually show the process and talk about the journal more, but I am so happy with how it turned out. It's so beautiful, and I love the leather cover. And I've just been looking at so many of those notebooks, like on Pinterest and stuff. Those Louise Carmen or Traveler's notebooks. They're just so beautiful. And they're so easy to make if you can find a piece of leather that's really cheap. But that was really fun. That was like my end of last week project. That was my Sunday project. So that's kind of been like my obsession of the start of this week. That's kind of all I was thinking about and working on, even though I didn't film a lot of that. But yeah, I was then doing some painting later on. I'm not very good at the days. I could obviously check, but I'm pretty sure this was um, like Tuesday. I don't even know. I don't know. It was in the middle of the week. But I went on a walk at the beginning of this video as well, just like a long walk around the neighborhood. I haven't really done that in a while. Um, it was kind of like a hot day, and I still wasn't feeling the greatest, but it honestly, I feel like just getting some vitamin D was really helpful, and it was really nice to go on a walk. There's not like a ton of places since I am in a neighborhood that I can like sit down and, like, I don't know, especially sit like in the land. I don't know. We have like a little park, but there's really not a lot of trees or like shaded spots. But I did just find a little spot in the grass to sit and journal a little bit. Um, I didn't stay there for very long, but it was nice. I was just also doing a couple little doodles and stuff, mostly just trying to get out in the sunshine and enjoy that. I started working on this painting, and I'm using gouache paints, which I haven't used in a long time. I feel like the approach, like how I approached the painting, was a little bit confused. Like I didn't really know how to approach it. And now that I've done this spread, I'm really learning to love gouache, and I want to do my other pages in them. These first these first two pages that I'm going to show you in this video that I did are in gouache, but the third page is actually acrylic paint, because basically for this type of style, this style of painting is a little bit outside of what I normally do. I would say it's a little bit more illustrative, a little bit more messy, but I am loving it. I love this style of painting because I feel like I've been taking my art a little bit too seriously lately, and like focusing way too much on if things actually look right or close to reality, and I'm just kind of tired of that. I want to have more fun with my paintings and not take them so seriously. So this was more just like complete fun. Like whatever I wanted to paint, I could paint it. It didn't have to have the lighting didn't have to be completely right. Like it's just more illustrative and more fun. And also the colors I was using were a little bit brighter, and it was just um I don't know, it's just fun, and I want to do more things like that. And if I were to make these into stickers or something, like I do find them very cute. Um, but for this style, I was kind of debating of how I wanted the designs to look, and I thought, well, acrylic might suit it best because I was trying to go for a more like opaque color style. I don't really know how to explain this, but with gouache, you obviously get a little bit more texture. Watercolor, I would get a lot of texture, but with gouache, I'm able to have that like opacity to it. And I was really enjoying that aspect of it, so I thought maybe acrylics would be better. But I did the third page in this video with acrylics where I painted like bleeding hearts and a hummingbird and little gems and stuff. And although I really like those, and I think I will go back to it and add some more details into those little paintings, I think gouache suits this style that I'm going for best. I just need to kind of practice a little bit more with it and kind of figure out how I like to approach the gouache paintings, if that makes sense. And I have the gouache that I'm using now are the Winsor & Newton gouache paints, but I also have like Master's Touch and the Reeves gouache. I also have their watercolors. I remember not liking the Reeves gouache paints as much, but I haven't painted with them in so long, so I should probably paint with them. I just finally found all of my paints again, so I'm going to be using probably some different brands, but definitely doing more gouache paintings. And yeah, I could probably scan a lot of these little paintings into my iPad. That is something that I need to research because I would really love to be able to scan images into the iPad to turn them into either stickers or prints or whatever it is. Like, I've tried that in the past, but I feel like you can always see the background of the paper or like something. It's just not as clear as I want it to be. But ultimately, that's kind of what I want to do so that I can actually use these little paintings. And then, obviously, I moved location. I used to be at the table, but I'm actually in my parents' backyard. And they have this really pretty fountain, so I was painting that. I was kind of like, I was doing some of those more illustrative styles, and that last page I did, I was not happy with it in the moment, even though now I think it's fine. So I just kind of went back to like a more impressionist watercolor painting for a little bit. But mostly I just wanted to paint because it felt like I hadn't painted in a really long time. And so that was the goal. But yeah, I just am feeling so inspired lately, and I'm inspired by brighter colors and this more illustrative style. As far as other things that I've been up to, I've been reading more and like journaling. I've been taking notes because I'm reading more like classic books, which are, I feel like, filled with a lot more vocabulary than, I don't know, I just feel like my vocabulary has declined because I haven't read regularly in so long. So, like, for example, I know in a video prior I said I was reading The Great Gatsby. I haven't even finished that book, and it's really not even that big. But honestly, since I work full time, I have to choose what I do when I get home, and usually I choose painting rather than reading, or journaling rather than reading. But I am trying to at least read a couple of pages in bed or before I go to bed. But Great Gatsby is on my list to read, and then I've been reading Oliver Twist this week. And then I have those two Anne of Green Gables books that I want to get to at some point. I just need to like pick a book and finish it. I want to finish it. But anyways, what I was saying with that is that while I read, I will just write down the words that I don't know, and then later just look them up and like write down the definition because I do want to learn new vocabulary. So that's been really fun. That's like a really cozy thing to do, just like in the evenings. I love lighting a candle and reading. It's very nice. And then other than that, journaling. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of doing that leather journal project, listening to more classical music. I've been listening to like movie soundtracks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been really nice to get back into painting and finally start to feel better and work on projects again. So I will definitely make a video about that, the new leather journal cover that I start working on. And in like a later section of this video, I will also just talk in real time about the paintings that I did and show you some of like the sketches that went into these, because I have some sketches in my journal of like some of the things that I wanted to make into gouache paintings and stuff like that. But overall, it's just been a really cozy week. I feel very inspired, and I feel like it was just a really nice week. Like every day felt very cozy. And oh, and I finally cleaned up my desk at the end of this week. It's so nice to have a clean desk. I got some colored pencils and paintbrushes, markers, and I kind of organized them on my desk and started cleaning some bits and organizing stickers and all that kind of stuff. I have so much stuff to go through. I still have stuff to go through. I want to organize like my IKEA drawers a little bit better. But yeah, I've started doing that and I've filmed some of it, so that will be in the next video. But hopefully it's been interesting for you to watch. I don't know, if you feel like you don't know what to paint or that you don't want to start painting or something, that it doesn't have to be so serious. Like, art is supposed to be one of the most fun things to do. Like, you're creating and it's just so tactile and so fun. And I feel like I've kind of reconnected with that through this different style. And I'm going to definitely play around with it in the future with some gouache paints. But I really hope that you've been having a great week and that you feel inspired to create something.